For more on this, we are joined via Skype by Marius Coetzee, a biometric expert and the CEO of Ideco. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us, Marius. So it's out with HANIS, which is the Home Affairs National Identification System, and in with ABIS, which is the automated biometric system. Is it particularly advantageous over the current systems we have of identification? What are the advantages?
Yes, there's definitely quite a few advantages based on a new system. The fact that it's an automated system allows you to apply the biometrics in so many different applications. I think we as consumers are required or are so used to advancement in the private sector, thinking about Airbnb, thinking about the Uber and all those type of advanced services. But when it gets to the process of identification, we're still used to stand in queues and wait for a long time to present our identity information to banks, etc., etc. With this new system, many of those identification processes can fully be automated, making the life of the user, the consumer, making it actually quite a seamless process.
So this will involve such things as the scans of the iris, palm prints, and infant footprints as part of collating that biometric data, and then it will link up with various systems. Are there any concerns, though, Marius, about the protection of personal information?
I have to say that Home Affairs has invested in possibly the most advanced system in the world. The system is used by some of the major authorities like the FBAs, the Interpols, etc. So what I can say is every precaution in terms of protecting the information of the person, the citizens of the country, has been taken. I won't say there's necessarily risk for us as consumers in the technology that Home Affairs has adopted for this solution. Obviously, risk is in most cases dependent on who's involved with the system. So the whole process of insider manipulation, that's always a problem, but Home Affairs is also putting necessary steps in place to make sure that the data cannot be manipulated and that there's a full audit trail of who's involved with these type of transactions.
And just quickly and finally, can the system, for instance, be hacked? We know about the cyber threats, cyber security threats. Can the system be hacked or perhaps even taken advantage of by private sector players wanting to tap into the wealth of information that a database like this will have?
Yeah. Hacking the system would be close to impossible, purely because the level of security and the way that access to the information is given is so controlled that I think we can safely say that our data within the Home Affairs environment would be safe. Giving industry, like the banks and other organizations, access to that information, that will also be a very controlled process, but it's also a very necessary process. We are required to prove our identity when we open bank accounts, as an example. Now, part of that process is to give your biometric information. That information proves that you say who you are, and that allows the bank then to open the account. So I think Home Affairs we can trust Home Affairs to a great extent that our data would be safe with them. We do have to take into account that organizations that are accessing that data, they also have to comply to all the standards. And we do know that there are some equipment in the South African market that does not comply. Some banks are actually using this type of equipment. So there would be certain requirements in terms of those who are accessing the information so that the level of trust and the security that's required is actually throughout the whole value chain that is actually well managed in the process.